The Norwegian royal house has updated the health status of King Harald of Norway following his hospitalization due to an infection in Malaysia. He underwent emergency surgery. In a very short span, the life of Harald V of Norway radically changed. Celebrating his 87th birthday on February 21st, it was revealed last Tuesday, February 27th, that he was urgently hospitalized at Sultanah Maliha Hospital on the Paradise Island of Langkawi in Malaysia. The Norwegian royal family reported, His Majesty the King fell ill during his vacation in Malaysia and was hospitalized there with an infection. The King is under good observation by both Malaysian and Norwegian medical staff, stated the Norwegian royal family. Since then, interest in the monarch's health has been immense, prompting the Norwegian crown to report on his progress practically every day. From the moment the king's condition was made known, Norwegian authorities rushed to confirm that he was gradually recovering in the company of Queen Sonja and his family doctor. The king's personal doctor is in Langkawi and confirms that the king is recovering after the infection, stated the royal house, referring to Bjorn Benz, the monarch's doctor, who flew to Southeast Asia to personally monitor his progress. Crown Prince Haakon, the monarch's firstborn, also spoke with some journalists, assuring them that his father was better, in good spirits but needed rest. To avoid speculation about his health, the Norwegian crown reported daily on Harald's situation on their official website. At the end of last week, they announced, the personal doctor of His Majesty the King reports that His Majesty is recovering. King Harald is still receiving treatment in the hospital. The statement also mentioned, His Majesty will stay in the hospital for a few more days and is well taken care of before flying back to Norway. Thus Harald V has been slowly but steadily gaining enough strength to fly on a plane. However, despite these encouraging updates, a new statement this weekend raised concerns. His Majesty the King had a temporary pacemaker implanted today at the Sultanah Maliha Hospital in Langkawi. The pacemaker was implanted due to a low heart rate. The decision was made today, and the procedure was successful. His Majesty feels well under the circumstances. But he still needs rest. This procedure will make the return home safer, stated Bjorn Benz, the King's personal physician, in a brief document. An unexpected, though controlled, turn that will make the monarch's health even more a focus of media attention. Just a day after the surprise of this intervention was still fresh, two new updates reported that Harald traveled to Langkawi Airport to receive medical transport accompanied by his wife, Queen Sonja. Upon landing on Norwegian soil, the king was placed in the Rikshospitalet, where he was to undergo treatment and rest. To complete his recovery from the illness, Harald remained on medical leave for 2 weeks. Thus, the anticipated transfer, in which the Norwegian government and armed forces assisted, providing transportation and practical preparations, took place. The latest update occurred today when it was announced that Harald was transferred home. Lately, the infection has become more controllable. His Majesty has a low heart rate and will require a permanent pacemaker, the text reads. The operation, which the monarch will face when he is fully freed from the infection, could take several days. Despite these worrying interventions and his condition, the Norwegian crown insisted that overall his condition is stable and improving. Crown Prince Haakon steps to the forefront of Norway during his father Harald's recovery. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince will act as regent and assume the constitutional duties of His Majesty the King, one of the royal family's statements said. In other words, while the king recovers from this illness, it is Haakon who takes on the burden of the Norwegian crown. The heir fully immersed himself in the role of regent, undertaking various activities, such as visiting Finns. There, he did not hesitate to answer additional questions from journalists, trying to reassure everyone. The situation is progressing, my father is getting better, but we are closely monitoring the situation, he explained. The first event that the Norwegian monarch had to attend after the weekend was a cabinet meeting at the royal palace on March 8th. An event that, after the latest information, seems evident he will not be able to attend. This private trip of Harald from Norway was part of the celebration of his 87th birthday. While the destination and duration of this trip were not disclosed, the circumstances related to the monarch's health revealed the chosen location for the said celebration. This is not the first time King Harald has been hospitalized due to health problems. In 2020, he underwent surgery to replace a heart valve installed in 2005. Last May, Harald was again hospitalized with an infection, similar to this time. The most recent of these occurred a few weeks ago on January 31st, as explained by the Norwegian royal house in a statement through the official website of the royal family, stating that Harald had to suspend his schedule of events due to a respiratory tract infection. King Harald of Norway turns 87, Europe's oldest monarch with an epic love story. Even though Harald is on the other side of the world, he is not alone. He traveled with Queen Sonja, his wife for many decades, with whom he starred in one of the most epic love stories of the European royal family. On June 23, 1991, 54-year-old Prince Harald ascended the throne as the new King of Norway under the name Harald V at the Nidaros Cathedral. Since then, 33 years have passed, during which the monarch represented his country as best as possible. In fact, after Queen Margrethe of Denmark's abdication, he became the longest reigning monarch in Europe. Throughout this time, Sonja has been by Harald's side. Harald and Sonja met when they were 14 years old, at a sailing camp in Hanko. Although they didn't know each other very well at the time, a few years later, love at first sight sparked between them. It was in the summer of 1959, thanks to a mutual friend, when they came to a party and couldn't stop thinking about each other. However, there was one obstacle: she was not a member of the European royal family. Convinced she was the love of his life, the then prince fought for 10 years for his father, King Olav, to allow him to marry Sonja. It's true that due to separate studies and constant problems in the romance, they broke up several times. Nevertheless, Sonja and Harald always found their way back to each other. I had very mixed feelings. I loved Sonja Haraldsson, but I also had a guilty conscience towards my father and Norway. King Harald explained some time ago.